and invocation, and then we'll jump back to receive the comments. Let's do the pledge first.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible. Is it invocation?
Yes, sir, please.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to serve the community. Grant us wisdom to lead with fairness, humility, and unity. Help us to honor the trust placed in us by acting with integrity and seeking the best for all. Guide us in your decisions today and our decisions today, that they may reflect your will, bring benefit to those we serve. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right, receive comments from the public. Any public? Nope. Receive president and director comments. Don't have any comments. Any comments, directors?
No.
Okay. Consider an act on request for adjustments to or relief from the specific charges imposed by the district. Okay, thank you. Consent agenda 5 through 9. Anything that we need to take out and adjust? No. Okay. All right. And can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda 5 through 9?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Can I get a second, please?
I'll second.
All four. I'm sorry. I think I said that wrong. All in favor. All in favor.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Regular agenda, consider official ballot from the Montgomery Central Appraisal District relative to the election of a board member and the adoption of a resolution for casting a ballot in connection therewith. 31 to 41.
The resolution up there.
No.
In the folder.
Oh, okay. Then answer maybe, probably.
This is the election that we go through. It was every 2 years, and this one came up fast because of
I have
legislation.
This one, and I have one that has more, is it this one?
Is that the, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is the one that has appraisal on it. There's a bunch of other stuff. I just want to make sure I'm not leaving out any legalese or anything else I'm supposed to read. All right. Do I need to read it or just pass around the ballots?
Mr. Votes for the special district nominees, and there's a list of them in your packet. You get a total of
5.
5 votes.
1,000 and how many?
1,008 total votes for the special districts.
All right, so nice high percentage.
Makes us feel very relevant.
Sweet. All right, well, every vote counts and everyone is important. So we need to take this seriously, even though we're about less than 1%. So what is the official way of doing this? I've never done this as president before.
So you got 5 votes total. You can allocate them all to one candidate. The candidates are listed on page 34 of your packet. Or you can allocate them among multiple candidates. It's really at the discretion of the board. The current board member that represents the special districts is Arthur Bredehoff, who is the vice director here in Woodlands.
Okay, so he's already on. He's already the current. Okay.
But you've had some boards who decided to support other candidates or split your vote. So really, it's just at y'all's discretion how you want.
Okay. Do we have a a moment to discuss? Is that okay if we discuss openly?
So with or without Chris here, the four of us decide our 5 votes.
Correct, because it's not one vote allocated per director.
Yes.
The district has 5.
It just happens to be
Some districts have
5.
3, some have 20,
Oh, okay.
so it's
Okay.
not by director.
And everyone has this in their packet? Cool.
I mean, my
else?
suggestion, especially considering we're less than 1%, is that, we rally behind one person. That's my opinion.
I would agree with that.
And my particular opinion is that we place our 5 votes for Arthur.
I think the community's done well over the last year, last several years. It sounds like he's done a good job. I don't see any reason in losing faith in him and the job he's already doing. So I would agree with that.
I believe,
Kathy?
yeah, I'm in agreement, and he's very well versed. He's already on the district, the appraisal district.
Mhm.
So I,
Exactly.
exactly.
A lot of experience.
Okay.
Motion then?
Make a motion that our 5 votes go for Arthur.
I'd like to make a motion that our 5 votes go towards Arthur.
Okay.
I wasn't sure if that was your first.
Do I make
Yeah.
the motion?
Yes.
I make the motion that our 5 votes go to Arthur, and I can't pronounce his last name.
Bredal.
Bredal.
Rita Hop.
Make it a
A
second.
second.
I second.
Okay.
Oh, who said- who's, yeah, I second.
You can do a second. That's fine. All right. So Keith has made the motion and she did the second. Perfect. Do I need to sign this or handle this later?
Yes, it'll be signed.
You can do it after the meeting, but we'll need it once we leave.
Okay.
However you want.
And just put a 5 next to Arthur?
Yes.
Okay.
Sure, we'll need to attest. There's 2 things you'll sign. There's the
Okay.
Here.
For whoever picked up the sweet tea, looks like there'll be a lot of talking today, so.
Fast talking.
Just a lot of talking. Talking in cold weather, it's nice to have a good drink. Sure.
No, I need another signature for you. 19th day. 19th.
Oh. Be it resolved by, is that what?
The district med 31.
Okay. Thank you. Right.
That's
Okay.
number 10.
It's number 10. Number 11, receive the regular monthly SGRA Woodlands Division report, including updates on operation projects and public outreach.
All right, well, I just have one item to cover today. It's on page 65 of your packet. This is the time of year that we look at excess funds from the previous fiscal year. And so we've done that calculation, which is on page 64. From that calculation, and then looking at the projects we have coming forward, we've recommended that the entirety of the excess funds is refunded to the MUDs. So there was a total of $5.1 million in excess funds. And on page 65, based on the FY '24 water sales, MUD 39 is set to receive $172,000 in change from that refund. So
Awesome.
there's no action this MUD needs to take. The trustees took action last month pending March 1st, which is part of the resolution.
So $179,000.
Get 100.
Wait, I apologize. I
172.
misspoke,
You have to
172.
read it.
Yeah.
172.5.
That's all I have unless you have any questions on anything.
No, that's
Do you have any questions?
a pretty factual chart. Nice and easy to follow. Thank you.
Control.
Any questions?
Mhm.
All right, number 12. See the attorney's report, sir.
Yes, sir. So the legislative session, as y'all know, is off and running. The committee assignments were finally issued last week for the House. So they are pretty far behind. The Senate's moving pretty quickly. We're passing legislation, but it's probably going to sit in the House for a couple of months. So we are monitoring bills and we'll bring for y'all items of, of interest that you think that, you need to be aware of as we make our way through the session. If you were tracking right now, one would take away the distinction between a developed and a developing district, which is problematic for districts that are in active development and do need the ability to generate additional maintenance tax because they're growing quite a bit each year. We worked really hard several sessions ago to be able to have that.
That would apply to us.
Yeah. So too early to tell if it has enough traction to be able to pass. Always caution folks that the passage rate for bills is 15% or less usually for each session. Yeah, 85 or so percent usually get killed somewhere along the way because you've got a long process to go through to get through both the House and the Senate, and you've got a pretty short time to do it. And there's any number of things that can happen and derail you. Committee hearings, just plumbing of the House, in this session being backed up that could, kill bills. So there's any number of things that can cause a bill not to pass. So it's too early to say at this point which bills really have much traction, but as we get further into the session, we'll get a clearer view of that. Deadline to introduce general bills is in mid-March. Local bills don't have a technical deadline to be introduced, but just as a practicality, it just gets even harder to pass a bill the later that you introduce it. So
Are you tracking, or are we tracking any bills that particularly affect our mud districts?
well, we track on behalf of just the industry in general. We work quite a bit with AWBD. If you were at the winter conference, one of my partners, Diane Miller, was there providing part of the presentation and the legislative update. So we do provide assistance to AWBD, and then of course for particular districts that have matters before the legislature, we represent them on those items. So two of my partners, legislature lobbyists, and spend quite a bit of time in Austin. So.
Okay.
So that's where we stand right now. Some other bills, one that deals with investment of public funds in investment pools like Texas Class, Texas Star, like what we use, that would require those funds to instead be placed with the comptroller and invested by the comptroller. I couldn't really tell you what potential financial impact that would have. We've gravitated in the industry more recently to placing funds in these pools versus CDs because we've had quite a bit of fluctuation in interest rates and a hesitation to lock those funds up over 6 months or a year with rates built up. And it's pretty competitive rates. So they have to go through the comptroller. I don't know if that's going to have an impact on what your yield is versus what you currently get on Texpool or Techstar, but watching that, bill that would require, longer lead time for agendas to be published of business days versus just calendar days. And so that would put, some additional time that staff would have to, have a lead time to post agendas, things like that.
Do the funds that get invested through the comptrollers or get managed by the comptrollers, are they locked in any, like a CD would under any time frame, or is it more fluid?
Well, I mean, I think it's too early to tell what the comptroller's arrangement would be. I would suspect it would be, similar investment pool, but instead of managed by an outside entity, it would be managed by the comptroller. But under the Public Funds Investment Act, you've got very limited, a very limited range of potential investments because you have, very conservative investment goals for public funds. And the first is preservation of capital, liquidity, last is rate of return. So,
Yeah.
you're not going to be seeing districts being invested in Bitcoin or anything crazy like that.
I mean,
Enron.
it's not like they even buy a stock. It's literally just commercial paper, at the very riskiest.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, so far, I can't really give an opinion, but I mean, it seems beneficial to do, a Techstar type situation or a pooled investment, whether it be with a comptroller or not, because you get the benefit of having a mutual fund like allocation of a broad array of different types of investments where you don't have a particular allotment of, say, just a CD or buying a municipal bond for a community. You're not one and done. You have hundreds of different options to keep liquidity high as things happen. So overall, sounds like a good idea. So,
Probably, between March and April, definitely by April, because the session ends at the end of May, things start coming into focus about, bills of traction, stuff that looks like, could very likely pass or, is on the cusp of passing and that could impact us. We start getting a sense. Now, there's always stuff buried in other bills that you don't find until, after the session is completed. So that's always a task that the industry has to pay for. So that's where we are at this point. Happy to answer other questions.
no, thank you, sir. Thank you. Very informative. All right, number 13, approve of order establishing office and meeting places outside the district, including authorizing publication of a notice related thereto.
All right, so this one and the next one I'll cover. This one relates to the addition of two out-of-district meeting locations. So your primary meeting location obviously is here. This is outside the district. We are going to add the community center across the street and the township for some of these proposed large, all mud meetings that could involve deliberation and discussion about the river authorities projects, as well as some projects of the districts that would be, affecting multiple districts. So we want to have a space that's large enough to be able to accommodate those groups. And then if there's members of the public that are interested in attending, we have, by law and the water code, we have to adopt an order that designates additional meeting places outside the district. And then we have to publish that notice once the order's been adopted.
And this requires this board's approval.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And so
I mean, overall,
all
it's-
the districts approved the same order. The only modification would be MUD 6, I think it is, that this building is located in their boundaries. So they have two out-of-district locations versus 3.
Okay.
I mean, whenever we did the annexation, we had a meet at the park and it was cold that day and rainy.
That was in the district because.
Right, but I mean, it was like not an ideal location because it's outside, there's elements, and having somewhere comfortable for people of all walks of life to meet and park and not be rained on.
Yeah.
Is nice.
You didn't like that?
I mean, I didn't mind. I had a coat, but I try to think of others.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
We're doing
Sounds-
actions on the.
Cool. any questions? Like to make a motion to approve additional places to meet outside the district.
I'll second.
And then all
Aye.
all in favor, sorry.
Aye.
I'm sorry. I had.
Thank you.
All right, and item 14, the adoption of policy number NEM 70, refer to this as the TikTok order.
Yeah.
So you've probably seen a lot of stories in the news about the federal legislation that bans TikTok and then the president's stay on the enforcement of that. And then, the various, groups that are looking to buy the U.S. operations of TikTok. Well, state has also passed a law that prohibits TikTok and related software, hardware, et cetera, from being on government devices. Texas government devices that are owned or leased. And so for 95+% of Texas districts, MUD districts, they don't own any consultants do, but not the districts themselves. So Woodlands is unique. We have staff, we have, equipment that's subject to the law. Eric and I visited about it. There's no issue from his perspective in terms of compliance. So we do need to get it, the policy in place, and then the district's already in compliance.
Okay. So we do need to act.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt policy number ADM 70 regarding covered applications and prohibited technology.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's-
Yeah. I'm just glad mine are a little bit too young.
Yeah.
Yes, you'd be very glad.
Sure, we'll go to another platform.
I'm sure they will, just like they did whenever Vine got canceled or whatever happened in it.
Discuss and or act upon conveyance of drainage ditch adjacent to RV park located within Glen Eagles neighborhood.
So we kind of talked before that we need to have some encroachment agreements and decisions to be made. But in order to do that, the ditch itself is currently owned by Howard Hughes.
Still now.
Yeah, and so we would either need an easement or conveyance to the MUD in order to make those decisions. So it's usually a pretty common occurrence to convey a developer property to the district. So it's just paperwork that we'll need to do. We need to pull the deed and some other things to get that moving along. And then Brian's office will kind of package it all up.
So, we have a couple of things going on in the ditches, and maybe I'm thinking about a different ditch, but if they technically own it and the ditch is damaged right now, would they be responsible for the damage, not us?
No, the MUD's operated the facility for many, many years. So it's
Even though they technically own it?
yeah, I think you have an easement which allows you to be the operator of the facility.
Okay.
So they own it, but we operate it.
And because we operate it, we
You're
have to,
responsible.
Yeah.
got it. Okay.
So when is that projected to be the deed or whatever to be turned over to us?
It's a process that we need to go through. We just need to gather up all the paperwork that needs to be done, the deeds, and we may need to pull title. And we may need to, question will be, is if the deed just separates this piece out, then we couldn't use it. But if it doesn't, has other properties involved in the deed, then we'll have to break this piece out of the deed with its own meets and bounds. So that may require some surveying to finish it, but to be associated with the conveyance doc.
So this is
So it'll
definitely one.
it'll probably be a few minutes.
Okay.
All right, so we have to act on it or discuss it and or act.
Yeah.
Do,
Other than just to authorize us to proceed with the process. I don't know if that needs full, probably does, but
Yeah, I don't know that as long as the board is agreeable with moving forward with the acquisition, I think that's why it was on.
right.
And so we can take a motion to proceed with the acquisition of the property.
I'll take a motion to proceed with the acquisition of the property.
second,
Second, yeah.
all in favor?
Aye.
Wonderful. Good. 16, receive and or act on general manager's report.
All right, just have a couple updates to give. We are continuing to run all of the ditches across the Woodlands, collecting the asset data and condition assessment of the ditches and piping. We have completed the harbors area, so that's good. Wanted to give you an update on the GRP committee. What would have been my first meeting was canceled in January because of the freeze. And so I did have a meeting with Esther A, where I got an orientation package, went over kind of the finances and the plant and the whole facility. And so we sat through that. I then made copies of that and had a meeting with Brad Houck, as I committed to do at the trustee meeting to go through that the package with him and then also talk about goals and path forward. So working together with, and Kim and Brad and I all met to work through that. So I think the first meeting that I'll have is Monday is the next meeting. So that'll be my first meeting. And then we've already scheduled Brad and Kim and next follow-up meeting. We'll likely meet between meetings. So we'll kind of cover the previous meeting and talk about the next meeting. It's kind of how we've got in our heads, at least at this point, to start off.
Any idea on the dollar figure on the damage yet? On the ditches? I mean, you said you had finished walking all the ditches.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're talking about the ditches. No, I don't have
Okay.
any updates on the dollar figures on the ditches. No, we'll need to, particularly in that back corner, we'll definitely need the engineers to get involved. But I'm not going to go down all those paths until I have the whole kind of asset allocation done. That way I'll be able to kind of pool resources to see what needs to be addressed from an engineering standpoint, and then what needs to be addressed from an in-house maintenance, and then likely what will need to be identified as, future projects.
Okay.
And so I'll kind of walk through all of that with each mud. And that's the other thing is once all the asset allocation information is created, then we'll pull it all back out per mud and have discussions kind of during the budget setting process.
Okay.
On what we think we can tackle immediately, what we immediately need to tackle because of addition, because there are some things, what we need engineering to get further information on. And those stuff, we kind of
Okay.
separate it all out that way.
Okay. I mean, and we normally do budgeting in early fall, right?
We start the budget process in June, July, and I think the first you see it is in August.
Okay.
We'll start, we believe we'll have the capital improvement plan related to the ditches and everything else done by then to be able to put that information into the budget discussion.
So sometime around August, we'll see the first glimmer of what that will look like.
Correct.
Got it. Cool. All right.
So I mentioned the GRP as well. Also had the second community working group meeting on the water renewable woodlands. I had that a couple weeks ago. That meeting went very well. We covered kind of the responsibilities between SGRA and WWA and the MUDs in terms of which assets they own and which ones they're responsible for. And then also kind of took that to, okay, based on who owns what are the different mechanisms to be able to fund, whether it's a maintenance, day-to-day maintenance, or whether it's an actual capital improvement project that would need to be funded in the future. So kind of just went through how those dynamics work with the group, and then didn't talk about any specific projects, just talked about the mechanics of how things, who owns what, responsibilities, and how we would generally fund things in general. So the next meetings that we might get into more detail about projects, but we'll go from there.
Is it possible if I can relinquish that responsibility? It's just really busy with like work and my kids to add another meeting on.
Sure.
And I would just like some help with that if possible.
We have a primary and an alternate.
I think Keith was the alternate.
Okay.
I believe. So I'm happy to just give it to you because just with elementary school age kids and sicknesses and whatnot, it's just been a lot of running noses. So I would greatly appreciate that.
If that is it, then we still would likely want to identify an alternate as well. So if you're relinquished to that and you want to be primary, that's fine.
That's fine.
Does anyone else want to be your alternate?
I mean, I'm happy to be an alternate for you.
Okay,
It-
let's just swap
yeah.
the alternate and
I
primary.
mean, yeah, I mean, if you all want to be alternate, by all means, be alternate. But if you're not raising hands, then I'll be an alternate. But yeah, you don't have nearly as many runny noses as I do.
No,
So
Yeah.
Whatever y'all want to do.
That's fine. I'll accept. I just get into the loop of it. Sure.
it's been pretty light so far.
okay.
Yeah, originally we were thinking quarterly, and I think the group had requested that that's just too much time in between to kind of lose some of the momentum of information that they were learning. So they wanted to meet more regularly. So I think it'll be, every 4 to 6 weeks-ish is kind of where we're at now.
Okay.
For the foreseeable future, next couple of months. So next meeting is
I think they had one like,
April 2nd. Yeah, April 2nd. So that was a little more than about 6 weeks. But anyway, so we're flipping them then.
Yes.
Okay. Easy enough. We can do that.
Sweet.
Wanted to give you an update on the matrix. Obviously, we spent a lot of time filling that out. That was going to be presented to the engineers at the end of January, but they've kind of kicked some things back, and they said, don't worry about getting it to us. We're not far enough along until I think it's end of March, I think. So, or somewhere in there. So I'm holding on to them. What I have done in the meantime is I've taken all 10 MUDs and put them all into one spreadsheet. So once we do submit it to them, I'll be bringing it to all the MUDs. So you all see a copy. So you'll kind of see how every MUD made those decisions you were making, on right side by side. So
oh, that'd be nice.
you get to see it all.
Yeah, see where their values lie.
See that.
Yeah.
Yep, there's certain things you'll notice and, just, it's fun to look at numbers and to see where things went, but,
Yeah.
sounds good. So, and then my screen. Hello. Oh, there we go. In your packet, you'll see, just an article that we put out on, what we are doing with the ditches right now. And then there's a few thank yous that we got from some residents, so we always appreciate that. Folks going out of their way to thanking us for our good service. So with that, I think I'll kick it over to John.
Howdy.
Howdy.
You got a report starting on page 92. And I really just wanted to zero in on the annual update to make sure that we are good to go on that. See if there's any last minute comments, edits before we publish.
I think the few people that work on this did a great job. Sorry.
And again, thanks for all your help with that.
Thank you.
You made it very easy. I appreciate it.
I like it. I'm a little confused at the top line item, lowered mud taxes. The numbers make sense. Maybe I'm just having trouble reading today. But where it says lower 2024 mud 39 tax rate 3.8% from 2023 from I don't know, just like grammatically it looks a little like it reads a little strange to me. I'm not worried about it, but I feel like we have some very picky people in our neighborhood that will comment on Facebook and just that'll be their entire day's argument. So just to eliminate that
I can
particular issue and they can just focus on their taxes going down and not the from number from.
Yeah, I see exactly what you're pointing to. I'll
I just don't need.
I'll clarify that.
Grammar Karens,
Yeah.
so.
We have plenty of those grammar care.
Does, do our neighbors care if to know who the trustee is? I notice that we have all the titles on the back. No
Oh,
mention of a trustee.
I apologize. That should be on there. Thank you. Thanks for catching that.
Extra work, man.
Yep. I will add that in, certainly.
Overall, it looks phenomenal. And I like the use of the QR code too.
Yeah.
And these are gonna be in paper in their bill if they
Yeah,
receive
so
paper.
they'll get sent out with this coming bill. And then we'll send it out electronically as well. Email, social media, and then it'll live online on your bud page year round.
Okay.
Sweet.
Yeah, so if we could, get it electronically too, so we can
I've
send
been-
it on their Facebook page and stuff like that. So that'd be good.
You
I've
bet.
been meaning to promote some of the various electronic versions of Woodlands Water and all that to the neighborhood too.
Yeah.
I need to push that out more.
Yeah, I think we all should, because it's super, very,
There's a lot
very
of good
handy.
resources.
I mean, just with the water leaks that y'all have caught from my husband leaving the water thing on in the backyard, it's been amazing.
Any other
No.
thoughts
No, I
or
think it's
questions? Okay, fantastic.
I mean,
Thanks again.
yeah, I mean, like the welcome to attend Mud 39 board meetings. If you want to put that in like bright rainbow, and so that way someone will absolutely potentially come to our meeting, that would be completely welcome. Like, I would just love for anyone to attend. Just please attend. Anyone.
Anyone could attend, that'd be nice.
Sure.
My daughter
Bring all my
came
I
once.
was gonna say, yeah.
I got my daughter to come once.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's like a little star, but just like, please attend. Anyone, if you'd like.
Well, you know,
They'll come.
I think what I can add in there is a note about can't make it, you know, check us out online. Should be recording this meeting.
Yeah. If there's a problem, so you can view the lack of attendance as satisfactory.
No, I would agree.
Got it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, good. Awesome. Good job, John.
Okay,
And-
yeah, thanks. Good work.
Great. Receive the Woodlands Water Trustees Report.
We had a bit of a miscommunication on the trustee report, trustee meeting, because I was out of town and I think
We did.
we talked about it, but we talked about it weeks in advance, and as it got closer, I should have given a reminder or something just to make sure. So we had a vacancy on 39 for the last trustee meeting.
I also could have texted you.
And so if you could help kind of give a quick update on it and on my behalf, since I wasn't here, if there was any notables.
Yeah, the main thing, of course, the report in here, let's see, page 88. The main thing was the trustees approved the excess funds to go back to the MUDs. That was, I think, probably kind of the big thing. There was one other thing.
I always encourage my colleagues to watch the videos afterward, and admittedly, I haven't watched it myself yet since I didn't attend.
Yeah, there was, I didn't mention a minute ago, I mentioned this in the trustee meeting, but I'll mention it to you all as well. On the GRP committee update, what I'll likely do going forward is present a more fuller update to the trustees. And then that summary will be in your trustee report, so you'll get that. If there's any really big items, I'll pull them out in the MUD meetings. Otherwise, you'll find any update on the GRP committee and what's going on with Brad and I and all that in your trustee report. And we talked a little bit about the public education committee and just the CWG and, you know, some of the content related to the strategic communication plans that John puts out.
Is Brad attending the meetings as well?
What?
The GRP?
We hadn't had one yet.
Oh, okay.
He had mentioned to me that he's attended a couple in the past and he'll likely attend some as a,
Okay.
you know, audience member. So I think when he can.
Okay.
That was pretty much it. Building improvements. We'll likely have the TVs up by your next meeting. And we went to phase 2 painting, so all the areas behind the walls you're seeing, or behind the public areas are being painted right now. So we're almost done with that. This weekend will be complete. So,
And that'll get done.
yeah, that's a new leak. It's come back, but it's not associated with what we fixed over here. So we got to dig into that a little bit more.
What a joy.
Yeah, it's not associated with the roof necessarily. So we're trying to figure it out.
Luck.
Yeah.
Good
Good
luck.
luck.
All right. So thank you for the update. Number 18, recess to closed session. Do we need to recess? Okay. Reconvene. We did not recess. Discuss future agenda and announcements. I would like to make sure that before call to order, that we have the pledge and invocation printed on there. If we could.
I think you got dropped off the agenda accidentally.
No, like, at the top on the agenda, I would like to add the pledge and invocation on the agenda at the very top for everything. I think it was there a couple months ago and it got chopped off. So.
Easy enough.
Other than that, any other matters? All right. 12:42 adjourned.